Chess, the game of strategy and intellect, has captivated minds for centuries, drawing in players from all walks of life. Its origins can be traced back to ancient India, where a precursor known as Chaturanga emerged around the 6th century CE. Chaturanga, meaning 4 divisions in Sanskrit, was played on an 8x8 board and involved 4 types of military units: infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. These pieces were the ancestors of our modern-day pawns, knights, bishops, and rooks respectively. The game quickly gained popularity in India and spread eastward to China and Southeast Asia, where it underwent various adaptations, reflecting the local cultures and preferences. However, the most significant transformation occurred when Chaturanga reached Persia, likely during the Sasanian Empire, from 224 to 651 CE. The Persians called the game Shatranj, and while it retained the basic structure of Chaturanga, several key changes were introduced. Most notably, the role of the counselor, a weak piece in Chaturanga, was elevated to that of a powerful vizier, the forerunner of the modern queen. This change significantly altered the game's dynamics, emphasizing strategic thinking and long-term planning. The game became more complex and engaging. The Persian influence on chess extended beyond the game itself, as they also developed a rich tradition of chess literature and problem composition. Shatranj became a favorite pastime of the Persian elite, celebrated in poetry and art as a symbol of military prowess and intellectual superiority. The evolution from Chaturanga to Shatranj marked a crucial step in the journey of chess, laying the foundation for the game we know and love today. This transformation was pivotal. The stage was set for chess to embark on its next great adventure, a journey westward with the rise of a new empire and a new faith, further shaping its destiny. As the Islamic Empire expanded across North Africa and the Iberian Peninsula in the 7th and 8th centuries, it carried with it the game of Shatranj. The Arabs, enthusiastic adopters of knowledge and culture, embraced Shatranj with fervor. It became an integral part of courtly life, enjoyed by caliphs, scholars, and merchants alike. The Islamic world played a pivotal role in preserving and developing chess during the European Middle Ages. Arab scholars translated and expanded upon Persian chess manuscripts, making significant contributions to chess theory and strategy. They developed sophisticated opening systems and endgame techniques, laying the groundwork for the game's future evolution. Moreover, the Arabic influence is evident in the terminology of chess. Words like checkmate, derived from the Persian shamat, the king is helpless, and rook, from the Persian ruk, meaning chariot, are testaments to the game's journey through the Islamic world. Chess flourished in major centers of Islamic learning such as Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo. Tournaments were held, attracting players of all skill levels. Chess became a subject of scholarly debate, with theologians discussing its permissibility within the framework of Islamic law. Some viewed it as a form of gambling, while others argued that its strategic nature made it a valuable tool for developing the mind. Despite its initial reservations, Europe gradually succumbed to the allure of chess. The game, with its intricate strategies and intellectual challenges, began to captivate the minds of many. By the 10th century, the game had spread throughout the continent, carried along the bustling trade routes and through the interactions of diverse cultures. Primarily through contacts with the Islamic world in Spain and Sicily, chess found fertile ground in Europe. These regions served as cultural melting pots where ideas and games were exchanged freely. Initially, chess was met with suspicion by some Christian authorities who saw it as a frivolous pastime or even a dangerous influence from the Muslim world. They feared it might distract the faithful from their religious duties. However, the game's intellectual appeal proved irresistible. The strategic depth and mental rigor required to play chess began to win over even the most skeptical minds. As chess spread northward from the Iberian Peninsula, it quickly found favor among the European nobility. The game became a symbol of prestige and intellect. By the 12th century, chess had become a staple of courtly life enjoyed by kings, queens, and knights. It was not just a game, but a reflection of one's strategic acumen and social standing. It was seen as a mark of refinement and sophistication, a game worthy of the intellectual elite. Chess was often played in the grand halls of castles and courts, where the nobility gathered to test their wits. The church's initial resistance to chess eventually softened, and the game became more widely accepted. Clergy members began to see the value in its intellectual challenges. Chess sets, often crafted from ivory or precious metals, became prized possessions, reflecting the wealth and status of their owners. These exquisite sets were treasured heirlooms passed down through generations. Chess imagery began to appear in art and literature, further solidifying its place in European culture. Manuscripts and paintings depicted scenes of chess, celebrating its intellectual and cultural significance. The game's popularity was not limited to the upper echelons of society. It gradually trickled down to the common folk, who also found joy and challenge in its play. Chess also found its way into monasteries and universities, where it was valued for its intellectual stimulation. Scholars and monks alike appreciated the game's ability to sharpen the mind. Students and monks alike engaged in lively games, honing their strategic thinking and problem-solving skills. Chess became an integral part of their daily intellectual exercises, fostering a culture of critical thinking and strategy. While Europeans embraced the game of chess, they were not content to simply inherit it in its existing form. They saw potential in the game and sought to make it their own, reflecting their unique cultural and social dynamics. Over the centuries, they introduced significant changes to the rules and gameplay, molding it into the game we recognize today. These changes were not made overnight but were the result of gradual evolution and experimentation. Perhaps the most dramatic of these changes was the transformation of the vizier into the queen. This shift was not just a simple renaming, but a complete overhaul of the piece's capabilities and strategic importance. In Shatranj, the vizier was a relatively weak piece, limited to diagonal movements of a single square. This made the vizier a piece of limited utility, often overshadowed by other more versatile pieces. European players, however, sought to increase the pace and excitement of the game. They wanted a game that was not only intellectually stimulating, but also thrilling and dynamic. They gradually enhanced the queen's powers, eventually granting her the ability to move any number of squares diagonally, horizontally, or vertically. This transformation made the queen the most versatile and powerful piece on the board. This radical change, which occurred around the 15th century, fundamentally altered the strategic landscape of chess. Players now had to rethink their strategies and adapt to the new dynamics introduced by the powerful queen. The queen became the most powerful piece on the board, capable of dominating the game if used effectively. Her presence added a new layer of complexity and excitement to the game. This shift towards a more dynamic and aggressive style of play marked a definitive break from the slower, more contemplative nature of Shatranj. The game became faster-paced and more engaging, attracting a wider audience. This transformation of the queen reflected the evolving social and cultural landscape of Europe. The game of chess began to mirror the complexities and dynamism of European society. Some scholars suggest that the rise of powerful queens during the late Middle Ages, such as Isabella I of Castile and Elizabeth I of England, may have influenced the queen's enhanced role in the game. These historical figures embodied the strength and influence that the chess queen came to represent. Others point to the growing importance of courtly love and the idealization of women in medieval literature as factors contributing to the queen's ascendance. The cultural shift towards valuing and romanticizing female figures found its way into the game, making the queen a central figure in chess.